A 12-day rescue operation in the rubble of a collapsed building in Miami, Florida, came to an end at midnight last night when the last row of searchlights went out. Firefighters have recovered 54 bodies from under the rubble, but more than 80 people are still missing, and a survivor bulletin board at the scene read 0. At 1:30 a.m. on June the 24th, hundreds of people were buried in the rubbles as they slept. It took 16 hours for the first rescue teams to arrive, and 2 weeks after the disasters, victims' families arrived with even more desperate news that the search had been called off.
It is with deep, profound sadness I'm able to share that we made the extremely difficult decision to transition from Operation Search and Rescue to Recovery.
As the U.S. Fire Department announced the official end of the research, many of the families of the missing cried, meaning that 12 days of hope had finally turned to despair, a sign of death. In the United States, which prides itself on the primacy of human rights, this is unthinkable. The fading life reflects the weakness of American governance and highlights the disharmony between state and federal levels under the American federalism. In the face of an emergency, the current system in the United States failed to mobilize professional forces to carry out rescue on the scene in a timely and effective manner. Officials at all levels took 16 hours to go through procedures to authorize federal rescue workers to enter the scene at a critical moment when the clock was running out. The hundreds of lives in the rubble are just the tip of iceberg of American disease, and this is not the first time that the veil of human rights hypocrisy has been lifted. In fact, the United States is not short of experienced rescue workers and advanced rescue equipment. It is the politicians who disregard the lives of citizens, use the disaster to attack their opponents, and seek political leverage that leads to the rescue going through the mill and makes the scene of the accident the latest collapse of American human rights. Slow and inefficient rescue, buck passing by officials, protracted investigations, from more than 600,000 Americans killed by COVID-19, to the people frozen to death in the Texas power outage, to the deaths in the Florida building collapse. Some U.S. politicians have shown little concern for the most basic human rights, the right to life. If their coolness has hurt the hearts of the American people, which is the real sadness of the United States. Today, the ruins are a cave-in site for American-style human rights. Building collapse in the United States, a man-made disaster. Under the attention of the global media, the archaeological rescue scene at the site of the collapse of the building stands in shape contrast to the efficient rescue in other big countries when confronted with such disasters. If they do not thoroughly reflect on and effectively solve their own governance problems, similar disasters and crises in the U.S. will occur again.